In the manga, when talking to Will, Finn mentions only God knows, which makes Will question what does he mean by God. He just brushes it off as a slip of the tongue, saying, why would a world abandoned by God know about him? You tend to forget about some things when you've been around for more than 5 centuries, which is 500 years. This makes everything make sense. Finn's extremely long lifespan and knowledge about things like the fifth element. We know around 500 years ago was when Mercades was alive. During this time is when they made their plan. It seemed like she didn't even know if it would work, but rather had her full trust in Finn. Which makes sense if she knows what Finn really is. Finn himself didn't even know how long it would take to make a person who could use the fifth element. That's why this trust would make sense if she knew he was their god, or at least one of them. She might have heard of the fifth element, but I doubt she had seen it in her time, or at least before they started the process. We know there's been multiple users of the fifth element in the past, whether it was before or after they started their plan, that amount to Finn's knowledge. The whole reason Mercades made the false sky and the Magia vander were just to buy time. It was like slapping a temporary band-aid on the situation. And this time, they would mix the blood of swords and mages over and over again. So the baby we were shown was most likely not Will, but instead one of his ancestors. This was done to try to create a sword user who could use the fifth element. Someone who could use the magical might of the wand and the brawn of the sword. Someone capable of destroying the celestial hosts and by that extent, Baal. If you don't know who Baal is, I'll go over him in a second, but it's the almighty weapon that's in the middle of being created. After Mercades and the original Magia vander fought back and captured Baal, the celestial host leader, they found out that he was undying. Neither sword nor wand could hurt him, so they decided to try to mix the two. This plan was probably headcanoned by Finn himself. As we saw, he made Mercades a promise and kept asking if she was sure about going with the plan. That was probably also due to the kid he was given being her son, so she would not be able to see him for a while she trained the mages. While she was doing this, Finn himself personally bodyguarded the sword at all times, but some tens of years ago, what was believed to be the last one ended up dying, making him believe the bloodline had ended. Him bodyguarding the fifth element users is why he knows so much about it. He thought it had ended until he found Will, who was hidden from him for some reason by someone. In his conversation with Will, we see that he knows what the celestial hosts are, keeps his true identity a secret, and knows about things like gods. We don't know much about the gods, but in Wistoria's fandom, it's mentioned that they are the ancient enemy of the celestial host. They seem to have had their divine realm destroyed by them, causing them to declare war on them. Though this next line makes me think two things. After talking about the old gods declaring war, it says now they have set their sights on the human realm, hoping to finally vanquish their hereditary enemies. With the information we were given before, we immediately think they're saying that the humans are related to the old gods, meaning at some point they probably weren't abandoned. Their abandonment could be due to the loss of the divine realm. Finn might be one of the last gods, but decided to keep that classified. We know his main mission is to help humanity fight back against the invaders. Him being one of the old gods would also make sense of why they know so much information about Baal. We also know when Will and Liliana met Baal, every ounce of the blood in their bodies rejected his existence. Then later on in this fight, Finn tells Baal to stop laughing, saying he's no god. This makes me wonder if there's actually more to him saying this. There lies a possibility that the invaders could actually be gods who were banished from the divine realm. This would make sense of why they had enough power to destroy the divine realm, why they're unkillable, and why Finn keeps it a secret. With Finn being a god, seeing someone like Baal laugh like he is one or isn't banished would definitely piss him off. He also looked sad later when saying only God knows was a slip of the tongue. While I do believe this could be true, this plus what we read earlier makes me question a second possibility. What if it's possible that the story is flipped? What if the invaders are actually the old gods? Wait, let me explain. If this is the case, that would mean that humans are actually related to the invaders. Due to them being forsaken, they went to destroy the divine realm as a means of revenge against the ones who turned their backs on them, causing the old gods to seek revenge on those who destroyed their realm, or at least those related to them. When you really think about it, nothing really works against them. They're immune to swords and wands. Even Whis isn't guaranteed to be able to beat them. So it really seems like they're closer to the gods than humanity is. This is just a theory I think would be cool, but it's kind of hard to make it work since that would mean that humanity's ancestors were extremely OP and destructive. That would also mean Finn decided to help them out instead of turning to the dark side like the rest of the old gods. Getting back to it, we know from Finn that the invaders are effectively immortal. Wand nor sword can work against them. which is why they made the fifth element, or rather Whis, which can let Will absorb magic, creating a magic sword, with its element depending on the spell absorbed. In the manga, he was shown to take this further by recalling the spells he used before and using them at the same time. Then he has his limit break, which is used from the blood of Finn, increasing all of his abilities and stats by a ton. With this form, he can bypass the defense of those resistant to both magic and sword. To achieve this form, he was told to take back his roots, which most likely means to gain the full power of the fifth element that his ancestors used. Before, he couldn't use magic due to his body hoarding it, and anytime he did, his body couldn't handle it, causing him to have memory loss. That's why now, with him being strong enough, Will is their best shot at taking down the Invaders, and by that extension, Baal. But while Finn wants to say it's possible, he obviously can't guarantee it. The upcoming Celestial War after the False Sky is taken down will be absolutely insane, revealing everything we have questions about, with one of those answers being that the Finn clan is definitely just Finn. Now, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe.